Alrighty, here we go. Welcome. Sorry to just 5 seconds early. I been meaning to think of trying to make it a little bit earlier, where I'm trying to thinking of actually getting it like a minute earlier, so then the starting screen can just be the 1 minute of me going, what's going on here, and then I can just start real quick, and then the actual start and end can just be the actual hour instead of like realistically it's always been like 59 minutes or 58 minutes of actual work time. So if I can like figure out how to maximize that just a little bit more, squeeze a little bit out, more content for you, that's what I'm looking for. So I'm just making sure. I had an update to the Streamlabs, so it actually defaulted to turn off my microphone, so good thing I caught that. I think we're good. Let me just make sure everything's really looking good. Okay. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, even starting at a fairly close time, it still takes like a minute just to get ready. So if I can minimize that as much as possible. So hopefully next time I'll remember to actually start the start up Streamlabs to start ingesting the information to YouTube before I start. So anyway, welcome. Hello. Let's load all my frames back in. Come on. Alrighty. There we go. Forgot about that bit. Okay, now I can see my mouth hopefully move. There we go. Okay, there we go. Do I forget something here? Welcome. Hello guys, hello Star and Cookie and Cartoons, welcome. Always good to see you guys, and especially Star and Cookie, thank you for always coming. Appreciate that a lot. Thank you guys. Alrighty. So let's see here. Oop, and I see someone. Hello, Lorenzo Studios, thank you. Hello. Let me get my face just a little bit more. Oop, straight up. There you go. And rhyme. Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Thank you for coming. This will be a little bit more, slightly more nerdy, slightly more technical. I know last time was pretty technical. If you were here for Tuesday, yeah, this will probably be a little bit more, or at least just not as much as free drawing. It's not going to be much as I'm going to draw a whole bunch of stuff and watch me draw. It's going to be like I'm going to have to model draw a whole bunch of different noodles and different master controller stuff that's like really complex. That it's so complex that I can't really explain it well enough, that I can't really explain like, oh, it's doing this, and when I do this button, that's behind the hood, that's what it's doing. But yeah, we'll get there. Kind of do like a simple version of that. Just gonna bop right into here and start going. So we got a horse group. This little box holds everything. Inside of it has the, let me get my pen out. So it's got the head peg, head group that controls the entire drawing stuff for the entire, all of the head bips. Of course, the body holds all the body bips. And then the shadow is just the shadow there. And I got the front view. Changed it slightly since last time. There's not as much like radical change. I ran out of time again. But I moved the left ear here. It was like back behind the skull like this, where you can see this little outline of the skull. So I moved it forward. Figured that out. And then some small movements to the eyeball. So I probably want to figure that out as well. But on the whole, I think it's all pretty much similar. So let's see here. Probably can like just start out with just a body slider. That might work. Hello Ben. Let me get my arm. Boop, boop. Welcome. Yeah, it's more just like a placement or a was it placeholder kind of a thing, where it's just like it's not meant to be anything right now. But it is sort of looks like that, yeah. Where it's not quite this isn't really Sunny at this point. This is meant to be, I know there's a billion Sunnies, but it's to be a puppet base. So once I get the base done, of getting all the different modular stuff that I need to do, the next step will then be to copy all the stuff here, all the different bips, all the things I compose, all the different parts that I have of here, bring it into a new file, call that one Sunny or whatever, and then add the hair, add the tail, add any other colors that I need to do, but I think I got all the colors pretty much close enough, and then add the cutie mark. So for right now, this is not actually supposed to be Sunny, but it just happens to be surrounded by that. So that's yeah, a little confusing, but the title of the stream is just to be puppet base, so it's not quite specifically any character right now, so to speak. So that's what I'm thinking of it. So let's work on the bodies, and let's go in here. What do I want? Or like on the outside I probably want to put it, but at least I need to just copy all of these bips here, just to select all these parts in here. It's not the head group. So we'll have basically, I'm gonna select every body, literally every body part, and see what that is. It's basically all these different keyframes and drawings and crazy stuff. You can kind of read some of these that they kind of get really weird. So not the shadow. Comp, tail. Or just go to here, I think. Yeah. It's like when you see those pony bases where it's kind of like they remove all the characteristics of the actual horse. Like if it's Rainbow Dash for a coloring base or making your own character base, then you would remove the hair and get it to its bare basics. So I selected every body part in the 2 frames that I got here. So now I'm gonna go into this special little slider button, slider wizard, and then this should bring up me. This is where it gets complicated. So I want all these bips, and I'm just gonna just make sure that I get everything that I need here. Let's see though. Maybe add a horn and wings. I think that would be good. But just for now, I'm trying to just at least just work on trying to get this going here. And if this works, then I won't have to worry about if I get this just basically to work, then I don't have to worry about it being slider working better good later on. So right now I'm just trying to like skip ahead like a step just to make sure that everything's here and I'm not overcompensating anything. Okay, so I think I selected everything. I'm gonna do first frame 1, last frame 2, horizontal, don't interpolate, and I'll call this base body spin. And the fun part is that when I click create, it opens up my file explorer. So I'm going to kind of go to a hang on, I'm gonna click create and I'm gonna select the composite body composite. Okay, yeah, so yep, and there's my let's see, that is my IP address. Cool. Yep, you can see all of that. So let me just kind of quickly just save that there. I think that made it. Okay, cool. Let's go back. Okay. Let's see where that went. Hello. There it is. Hi. Sweet notes. Welcome. Hello. So this added this little special node bip that now has some properties, or it knows the different frames that I just did. And I'm going to paste it on the outside here and have a couple extra pegs to move the actual thing around and give it a composite and put it on top. So it should appear somewhere, probably. Where did it go? Why don't I say probably have to put it on here? Maybe comp doesn't have it. Goes into comp, goes into here, goes all into here. I don't know. Was it like super? It can't be super dependent. That doesn't make sense. It seems to have lost the actual drawing of it. So that's not good. Where did it go? Do you see it? It was like a little slider thing. That's annoying. It should just be here. Should just exist. Right? Lasting composite not working. Let me get it off composite and just put it into here. Put it into the head. Put it into the body. Hang on, I'm trying to figure this out. Sorry. Let's put it actually just back into the body and see if it's actually somehow really being dumb or what's going on here. That's just not appearing at all. Wow, that's just what? It was here. It should be a visible thing, unless is it just being hiding? Is it just being shy? There it is. It just disappeared. Oh, it's because it's got a little show control mode always. That's something. Yeah, I haven't used these mouse controls in a while. So for a hot sec I haven't used them, so that's probably why. Beep. Okay. Poof. So I'm like I'm debugging it live, so here we go. Sorry about that. Now I know. Let's see. Oh well. Let's see. The upcoming animation? In a sense. Not a Yoshi Greenwater production kind of a thing, but like a little Mad Libs kind of like special thing. For streams. For the stream specific, I guess. Production. So let's see here. I'm gonna add some exposure to this horse, and then so let's test this out. So let's say I animate the horse for like 400 frames and go da 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 da, but she's in front view, and what if she needs to like turn around or like do a take or something where like her body needs to just go to a 3/4. So instead of having to like manually make it and like move different things around, move each leg, and then try to keyframe it and then have to go into a pose that's specific to a 3/4 view and like having to draw it all out and have every piece, you know, set up and do in-betweens and everything. It's like, this is what this slider is. Hopefully I'm scared to see what it does, but if I slide it, it should go to the next frame, or does it go to, is it not connected somehow? Ah, jeez. What it should do is set the body to change all the different frames from 1 to 2. Might have to recalibrate these a couple times. That's a little problem with this. Is that I haven't done this in a while, as well as this being so complex that I can't understand it enough to have it work every time. It just kind of works on its own. So I might have to like either remake it or see where I messed up on it, or see where does it actually need to be. Like it might actually need to be part of something, like probably part of the body. Sorry about this. Yeah, I didn't play test this in a sense to make sure that this actually works. See, okay. We did it. Now it works. Okay. That's what I mean. It's like, sure, yeah. Let's just do it now. And then we delete the frames in it, and it gets angry. Let's just remove that keyframe. Beep. And some of them still change. So this gets a little not happy. It's changing the frames of them. So the drawing substitutions were changing in that sense. So she can go hit. There you go. Okay. So, okay, so what I'm learning, it's like science. We gotta keep learning. So we're learning that it may be connected to, oh, when I did it, yeah. with that scary big box, it was like which, when it said create, like which, oh yeah, I don't have anything selected. It said which, oh yeah, there's nothing. From 1 to 2. 2. That's really upset about that. So we're also learning that. That it's dependent on which composite it's connected to. So if I remake this again and make a new one, I would have to be very specific on which composite I wanted to put onto it. So I had to make this one. Those would be master controller composite. I better work on this to be master controller comp. And then when I make the head one, I'll be very specific to make sure it's this one. And then they'll go into there. Okay. But that's the gist of it, is that now I can have specific poses. So I can be like 3,000 frames into this animation. And when I want it to be a 3/4 or a front view, I can use this rather than going either to the very, very beginning of the timeline, trying to copy it. Maybe there's a turnaround. Maybe the turnaround is deleted. This is like permanent in a sense that it really does store all of the drawing properties, all the peg transformations, all the different attributes that were set up when you make it. So even if I go back into here and let's say that I rotate it, if I go into this pose and then say, hey, go back into here. So it's kind of like, it's kind of not doing what I thought would happen. So I've only used Toon Boom for like a year, but it's still mystified of just how weird things are. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you can do that. What you doing there now? Huh? That should. What? Okay. Let's see. So if I spin it, I'm used to it just going back to base normal, because then that gets bad. Because even if you animate it, then it gets really upset. Interesting. So I keep learning more new things each time. Ah, jeez. Okay, so what's going on here? More just me debugging this at this point. Trying to figure this out. So even if I make all these different frames and stuff, I was going to do a whole bunch of different frames for like the head. And I can't even understand how to do this with the basic body rotation. Interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely have to do like a whole bunch of reading manuals and stuff to see like why. But even if they do like the manual stuff, it's still like the documentations for how this is supposed to work. It's always like they're never gonna make a mistake, so it's kind of like hard to learn. Like whenever I make a mistake, like what am I supposed to do? You know? And it's like, oh, well, of course, if you did the flibble, you know, tool here, then that automatically make sure that when it flobbles, it'll be fine. And it's like, I didn't know about that. So let's see. Let's figure this out. Let me just move this over. So let me get the controls for the master controller so you can see what these are. These get really complex too. Some of it is visual style and some of it is like how it actually functions, like a good node box does. So show controls always. That's what happened before, is that it became invisible sometimes, because of course you sometimes want your controls to be invisible. Inverted means that it'll go from 1 to 20, but if you reverse it, it goes 20 to 1. Horizontal. If you flip it, then it becomes vertical. Sometimes that's fun, sometimes that's not. Yeah. Hello, Foxy. Welcome. Let's see. Screen space, labels. All these different things are just how decorating the actual widget name here it can be. So you can like fully customize this a lot. Dynamic label. So Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's weird that a lot of this is so like well thought out, but then there's only like this sort of stuff only like came out like in a couple years ago version of the Toon Boom. Like before, you had to like actually write this sort of stuff out and actually create your own code. There's a whole bunch of crazy code going on here, but now it became more user friendly for people who don't understand code. But at the same time, now it gets more confusing because it's like hybridy to the sense as like now I don't really know what it's doing because I'm not doing the actual coding to know what I'm really affecting, you know. So let's just see. Let's just work on the different head positions and see how far we get with that. And if it works with the head master controllers, great. If not, oh well, you know. Okay. So I'm going to at least just hide this for now. Deselecting the bubble there. Okay. Let's work on head positions. Will it be easier? Is that I want let's go back to head. I want a head that's neutral 3/4, one looking up, one looking down, front view, looking up and looking down, and then maybe one looking over here in each corner as well. That might be too complicated. So maybe just up and down. So then it can like have some sort of like nodding up and down motion, because might be useful. So let's see, what do we have to do for that? So I can see and make sure that I'm keyframing and moving the positions here. So the body will still move, but let me just move this way over. So let me just make sure. Okay, so we'll have neutral, and then we'll have, we'll just go in and say, let's make this the looking up head. So let's move the, now it gets to the part where I would like to actually start moving different pieces around. So let's go into just peg mode. Have to be very minimalist, choosing what I want to move and at what angles. Because if I move them too much, then things can get very out of line. So I'm going to just move each piece here. As if now she's looking up. I also probably want to remake the skull real quick. So I need to, I can not have to like remake it, but at least I can probably just add a deformer. Whole bunch of stuff with that. Let's try that. So we're gonna add a deformer chain with curve deformers, and I'm going to just go into isolation mode, hopefully, on just the drawing of this, and see that that changes. With the hammer here, so I'm just gonna add like a couple different points at different strategic places, so it can like deform the geometry of the head. Hopefully that's good. You have to like click a button. I think it's a control. Maybe it's not. Is it alt? Nope, I get upset. Okay. Let's just move on. Okay, let's just, I have to move the little dangles, the little curve. I got flips, so let's flip that back. Okay, and I'm going to see what's going on here. Got into a little knot here. Ooh. Ooh. Well, if I delete this, then the whole... That's the start of it, so... Wait, now. Why are so many different things here? What's going on? Oh, it like added... Whoa, it like added so many different things here. Ooh, look at all of this. This is fun. Let's remove this one. Let's... Maybe that was important. 6? That looks good. Okay, so now these can all be here, and they all look happy. Okay. Let's try that. So I tried removing one of the curves because it didn't seem like that was correct, of it being like a little knot, where it was like tied up on itself. So, yeah, so if you accidentally click on not exactly one of the curve bips, then bad things happen. So it's like so precarious trying to do this. And if you're trying to do this quick, it's like you're gonna click on it bad at some point, you know? It's incredible just like how much work a lot of this extra magic wizardry stuff that like looks really cool and it's like can help you in like a long run in a sense of like if you want to make like a whole cartoon and stuff, then it's like yeah, spending the couple extra hours here to like really make this perfect is gonna be really good. But you also like have to kind of just step back and say like, what am I even doing? Like, is this really worth it? And it's like probably not a lot of the time. So just to kind of like show it off, that's like, man, this is way more complex than it probably needs to be. But hey, if it makes it look cool, or at least you can put a little stamp at the on your box or whatever on the back of your like a game box. And go for it, man. Is that another one? Now I gotta add another set of bips. Just gonna add like 4. Okay, so I can't connect them for some reason. I'm not sure why. Where'd they go? There they are. Nope, it added the knot again. What? So, okay, so this one. It's never simple. Okay, so you also have to think like, is this better than just actually just drawing the what you want frame by frame? And it's like maybe for like a personal project, you know, you have to think like for a personal thing, then sure, you know, you'll have your own drawing style, and it's like how are you gonna draw it is like always gonna be consistent. You have to think like if you're gonna be in a studio team where everyone's gonna have to draw similar to each other and be on model exactly with each other, and then having something that's literally will be always gonna be consistent to itself will be more useful in the long run. So it's hit and miss, but hey. So let's see. So we got this, and I'm going to move the bips here now to kind of like move them maybe down a bit. Maybe move the cheek up. So I'm deforming the geometry of the skull here in an attempt to have it so when it master controls, it should take into account these different new positions of it's like moving, interpolating. It's going to hopefully interpolate, I hope, because everything else hasn't worked out yet. So let's see, and interpolate between these different poses that I'm now keyframing, so it'll hopefully look good. Yeah. Let's see about mounting animation programs. That's true. It's yeah. But like all the modern ones are like the ones that are still on air. Most of those are using Toon Boom and equivalents. The Simpsons, Family Guy, and all those. The larger ones are all using Toon Boom in a sense that's like, yeah, you might as well use that. I'm sure like other modern ones, can't really think of them, unfortunately. What another one that's not using Toon Boom will be doing. What have we been using? Okay, so I got this. I got this one. That's good. So I'm gonna hopefully see if I can. I'd like to go back to frame 1. Let's see. I want to copy everything from here to here. Is that all the bips? Oh, because yeah, the eyes have multiple pieces. Okay. So hopefully if I do this, copy and paste, then maybe. Yeah. Okay. And so now I'll just move the eyes and everything downward. And then we'll have it looking. I have to move everything else, of course. Let's see. Hello, portable. This is what I mean. It's like it's gonna either really be worth it or it's gonna be not. So, unfortunately, this may not have been my best display of this, but hopefully it shows you. It takes a lot of work and effort to be able to do stuff like this. So at least just show like the craftsmanship of trying to do this stuff is. There's a lot that goes into it. Yeah, puppet building and puppet rigging is a true art, and I appreciate it. Let's see. Hello. How are you? Let's see. Does that look good? Let's move the whole eyeball. Maybe we can like skew it. So this will be where like all the smaller adjustments can now come into play here. Okay, so we got normal looking forward, looking up, and now looking down. Okay, that is good. Good to hear. So move these up just a bit. Let's see. No, but not quite sure, and I'm probably would prefer you to use full words for your sentences there, please. Let's see. So I'm probably just gonna move this back and then put this here. So I think there's this one. What's this? Let's move this here. And anything else? There's one weird one here. Let's see what you're doing here. Is that a keyframe there? Okay. So let's add. Let's make sure everything's good here. Okay. Feels like it's slightly tilted, or is it just me, or does it seems slightly kiltered? Let's see. So that's the thing there. Is there anything else that would remotely move the head in some way? This one would. Does that have any keyframes though? Never had any keyframes. That's more for what I would like to have as animation, so that's not gonna do it, but it just seems kind of tilted. Let's see. Oh, these never had any keyframes. Or, no? Wow. Okay. Let's just at least add keyframes to all these then. Huh. That all goes. I guess I shouldn't be keyframes of these bips. These are for the 3/4 deformer. So maybe they shouldn't have keyframes for them. Maybe that'll help? Maybe it's just me. Can't tell. Just to me it seems like her head is like slightly tilted. But even then I can't really... If I adjust it, it'll give me a different number up here, so that's not gonna do anything. Huh. Well, alright. Or maybe one of these bips has a slightly different couple numbers up here. If I just change these to 1, what happens? What about you two? You're okay. You're slightly off. Let's do -1. That doesn't work. Okay. Yeah, I can flip the canvas. Yeah, it's the mirror button, of course. Beep. Whoa. It even tells me mirror view over here. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you definitely see more stuff when you mirror it, so let's try and work on it from this angle now. I think it must have got some extra keyframes when I either moved it, but then I moved it back, and now it's still upset. So now I probably have to like go back and like now manually say a couple different things, or unless the skull itself is mixed up and I can't tell. Reset it. No. I go back to here and say, hey, all these reset button. Let's see. It's so weird. Reset. It's also possible that a lot of these are just frankly off, and so that'll also kind of deal with a lot of this weird stuff that's going on. I might be like moving things and then it undoing it in a certain place, but then there's so many other complexities that it's like somewhere else it's being okay, but then there's another place where it's like messed up, so it's like, now where's the problem? Like, how do I debug and say like, oh, this is the one that's messed it up, or is it the one that's hierarchy that's messing it up, you know? There's so many things that are like controlling each other thing that's like, well, it's either this or it could be just going back a little bit lower in the hierarchy, and it's like, well, maybe it's just this. So I'd either have to like systematically figure this out, or do it on the first try and see. Let's turn the mirror view off. Beep. So that looks good, but so we have this, we have this, we have this, and we have this. That's probably close enough that I'll probably just be happy with it. And this is just probably just gonna be for demonstration purposes today of this, where I'll just work on this just for show, and then I'll definitely have to work on this on my own just to figure stuff out. Sadly, what's going on? Okay, let's what I'm gonna do. Just move on. Next frame. I'm going to move all the bips to now look up. So, guess I'll just start from the highest hierarchy. And then do perspective. Now the ears will go down. See how that kind of works. Move everything up. Move the eyebrows down. Maybe even move these a little bit lower. And then do the skull, which probably doesn't work right. So, oh well. Probably move these bips up. The cheek. That can't move because it's actually being connected to there, and that's not gonna work well. So, oh well, and there's no extra way to actually connect it because I couldn't get the thing to move, or I couldn't connect them in a circle. So that's best I can get with that. I can move this one. Okay. And then you're gonna need a copy of the first one, but because I animated so much of it, then now it's gonna get complicated. What happened last time was probably that I tried copying it, but it was like not enough. I probably need to just actually go into like everything, but there's so much that's like all these different things here. That the folders are so big with everything here and that. I have to be very patient to figure out which one of these is it. There's a Master P. Oh. Oh no, that's my Midnight Mares one. I used that just to make sure that everything was... I figured out the leg bips by using that. Let's see. Okay, so we'll just put her in a tiny box where I can figure out the rest of the timeline, which is now going to be huge now. So I can copy everything here. So we can copy everything from here down, yeah, to here. And then we'll hold control and move it over 2 spaces. That might be safer. Now I'm gonna move it all down. So let's do the same thing again. Not to the right. Okay. Here we go. Beep beep. Beep 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 beep. 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 Ears will go up instead. And so that doesn't connect, so we'll have to use the deformers to move this up and kind of angle this out. I'm holding the button to not adjust the other side, but of course this one doesn't have it. Probably should have put it at the bottom, but under everything, I think that's at least fine words right now. Okay, so at least now we got at least something to work with. To have the mouse controller just kind of work with these, I guess, and see what these do. So I'm going to let's just move these up, down, and then front, up, down. Okay. So hopefully with all of these now, I can use these with the same thing that hopefully the body thing will be figured out soon with this bip. So probably need to make another one of these because it seems to be hard-coded into how the, when I first made it, this little slider was like very like, I want to be on this specific Or I could just do it now with the body or the head bit. Let's try that. With the... Now how do I select everything here? I need to select everything again. All these bips. Back to here. Get to here. And say... Let's get it go on here. Oh, I do have everything selected. Oh, that's fun. Okay, and then I'm going to go off to this frame. Or... Nope. Once I got that. And these bip. So now I go to... What is this? Frame 6. Let's see. Oh, guys, ordering down more. 6. So we have to select all these pieces here, all these keyframes, all the drawings, all the curve deformers, all the different properties, just for the head bip. So let's go back to. Oh, I need to make the new one because I can't just make it a slider. I wanted to make it a grid. So let's try that. So it needs to have 3. I have basically just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So 3/4 up, middle, down, and front up, down, middle. So I need a combination. How do I get rid of some of these when I don't need them? I need to say, well, if I don't put it into anything, then it may work. Or I could have it be a reverse somehow of the... Yeah, we'll just have to use these just for now and say, hey, select this one. And then, let's see. So I want this one to be the front, and then this will be... When you rotate it, well, how does this work? If you... I made this like all backwards too. If I made it for the front, then it would make more sense. So if we move it to... The head in rotation moves to the left. So I would need it to be... this one to be this frame. And so we'll call it frame 4. And then we'll work from there. So this will be frame 5. And move over. And this will be 6. Now they're becoming green. Hope this is making some sense to you, hopefully. 1. So I was using a matrix to say, hey, where everything is, and using the different frames. And then we're making presets for this. And once I click go and create, then it kind of gets locked into it. That if I change, hopefully I can eyebrow, then it doesn't actually change the matrix. Hopefully, but I think, but it's mostly just looking at to see like the all these different things of peg things, brightness, contrast, groups, readings, drawing attributes. So. Okay, let's call this, what did I call the other one? MC base body spin. So we'll do it head spin. And if I click right, it'll go to this one. That's what I needed. And then I need this to be, what did I call it? I called it the MC group. And if I click this, it'll go by Foxware, which will get my fun, wacky numbers for my IP. So I'm going to go to, hang on, I get some water too. Gave me an error saying that the frames that I didn't include are invalid because there's nothing involved in it. So let's just see if I can delete them. Toggle delete. Nope, that doesn't work. Quickly, how do I delete a piece on the grid wizard matrix? to the end of that. Okay. Toon Boom. As your controller. Delete. Grid. Controller. Nope. Here we go. Let's see. Yeah, it's like I probably could have just used that. Dimension. Oh boy. Sad part is that I have done this a couple times with mouse controllers with the Minimare stuff, but it's just like it doesn't always work. On a Ford, that might work. I think I'll just go with my intuition and say, want this to be, it'll just have to be a frame, A will be 3. Guess I can go back for this. And then D's gonna be 1. And then G's gonna be 2, I think. So, yeah, I'm just like upset because it wasn't filled in. But even if I do the little toggle, deleting that row column at a select position, gives me this weird crosshair thing. If I select on it, then it just stops. So, who even knows what these do? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I'll start it. Okay. Hang on. Great. Forgot which comp I wanted it for. There's my wacky numbers on my IP. Don't do that. Great. Okay. And there we go. We sort of got it. We'll see how it works. But there we go. So now I got a body spin, which, whatever, we'll call it later. But now I got the head spin. So I can move this around, maybe, to move it in a more nicer spot. Which on the next frame it moves over again, so get rid of that. Okay, so the point is, hopefully, is that now I can go to horse, use all these frames, and then I'll delete everything past it just to like clear it because I had all those extra tests. So let's say on frame 30, I want it to be a 3/4 view, and I want the head. Let's see how this works. Oh, look at it go. It's magic. So this is what it's for, is that you can have, if you do this right, the better you do this, the better it'll look out. So it's interpolating it between all the different poses that I'd set to have. And so if you do this right, if you don't have it freak out like that, then you can do some really crazy stuff with this. So that's what I mean. That's the fun part, is that if you set it up right, which it sort of does, at least just for some of these. Look at that. She can nod and look up and down. And so instead of having to draw this particular pose every single time you want her to look up and trying to like set up all the different like, okay, so the ear goes here, and then trying to figure out, well, at this position, where does the ear go? You know, you can just like, oh, I want, to be here. So I can go like a couple frames later and have her like look down, and then I can interpolate it. Lovely. Where did that go? And then, yep. So now it goes from there to there. If I move this over, maybe a couple more frames, see what that does. Yeah. So now if you have an animation, you can now just kind of use those keyframes that you have, and then just go beep. And so now you can start animating from here, and add different lip sync maybe. Or now she can go in between, go hop, and then different mouth frame there. So you can start like animating while it's moving as well, and see what that does. So it becomes a lot more fun then. It's like, look, you can like animate while it's going, or like change its position, and it's like you didn't have to like, you had like 2 positions that you kind of just went between with this little dot, and you can still like animate it and move it in space, even of like doing more stuff like this, but maybe it like starts to like really like move over, maybe like down, and so you can like interpolate between these two, but not that one. So it's like the possibilities of like what you can do with this is then endless, but yeah, it's just like how complicated it is to sort of start it is a little bit unnerving. You know, and then maybe like in between here, or like body then like goes that way to then. So sometimes it works. So why is it not? Probably need to just delete it the same way that I get the head, saving. Boop, boop, boop. Oh yeah, it's got way too many things going on. The shadow has its own thing going on here, but I think that should probably fix it. At least try to. I was trying to interpolate between it. Maybe let's see that body. Should be this bit. So let's just remove all these frames there, and then we'll add it back in. And so even that looks pretty cool. Then maybe like halfway done. Then you could have it go into the opposite. And so like maybe the arm goes up. And so now you can like kind of like pose it in more extreme positions, more than what you would have maybe thought of before. In a sense, that's like, oh, I might not have thought of this specific pose because I wasn't using a base and then started to like animate with it, you know. So that it's pretty cool, and can like add a lot more fun depth to it. So, and just be able to like make her go is also kind of fun. So obviously some of these like rotating bips sort of work, but you can see like it is trying to like move the eyeballs in the mouth correctly. So just be up to like how the ear has a flip, and then some of these in between ones don't quite work, but they kind of work pretty well in some places. So it creates this like magic in-betweening factory, whereas I didn't have to make like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, like 20 different frames. I made like 3, and then Toon Boom's able to interpolate between those, and the better I make it have real depth or like more real accurate rotations, the better it'll turn out. So if I added more keyframes or add better drawings or like figure out where some of the glitches are and fix some of them, then it becomes a really, really powerful tool that a lot of studios will probably use a lot. They use a lot of this now. It's kind of like fake 3D moving around, but it's like, it's so fun. So it's not just using those as poses, like you can do a lot more animation while it's moving or try to figure things out and do stuff like that. So I think it's fun. Okie dokie. How was that? Boop boop boop. Okay. And so this is only really the tip of the iceberg of like stuff like this, is that I can add another box for maybe the eyeballs to have like a look gaze kind of a thing, to say like, hey, be this kind of box where I can have it be positions of where the eyeball can be, maybe like animate using that kind of a box, or have obviously more body spin positions. So I might have maybe like a 7/8 or like more poses, or like have like different angles and then add different pictures and different poses of like it being in different places. But yeah, once we kind of set this up and like make sure that this sort of works in a sense. I mean, easier ones work the best, where it's literally just moving very little pieces. But yeah, I can see like it's using the deformers that we moved the cheek. The cheek really helps it a lot. Kind of define the depth of it. Is that I animated the cheek to kind of move up and down. So yeah, it kind of helps a lot to like sell it a little bit more. That's instead of just having just the eyeballs and mouths and stuff moving around. So yeah, there you go. So obviously all these weird glitches sometimes even happen to the best people. So it just takes a lot more time to like add. Like you can add like a more extreme version of what I made of adding a lot more frames to it, like front, 3/4, profile, maybe weird 3/4. That's 180. Mirrored, it's probably really good. This might help because there's actually like two. Can't move in. Let's just say it for right now. So there's actually two dots right on top of each other, and so that'll help when you need to like have it be in the middle, and then to like have it flip between the same pictures, maybe here and here, of being the same 3/4. So like slightly off to the side, slightly off to the side, and then in the middle, it's basically using the same picture, but as it get from one side to the other, if it's going to be flipping from the same picture. So there's actually two dots right on top of each other that are just slightly off, that by 1 millimeter or so in pixels or something are actually overlapping. So that's the bridging of the overlapping stuff. So yeah. I mean, out of everything, we actually got it sort of going. Some of it probably broke a little bit there, but there you go. So I have to figure some of that stuff out. So some of it broke. Oh well, I'll fix it, and I'll definitely have these to kind of work with it. So yeah, you can have some of this. Yeah, alrighty. Let's go to toast time before anything else breaks. Okay. Yeah, I haven't used mouse controllers in like probably like 8-9 months, and I haven't really done it over consistently, I guess, or haven't used it. Yeah, just I only had to do it like really once and try to. It just kind of like happened to work the first time when I was doing the Min-Mares stuff. So I guess I can kind of show you that maybe. Or not, because that might be a bit too much to show those assets unsolicited, I guess. But yeah, it's basically the same thing, but it's just like instead of trying to make it interpolate between, have in between frames that poses that I didn't make, that the computer Toon Boom made, it just kind of just swaps between the different poses. So it doesn't, it has like a front and then a 3/4 and a profile view of all of them. And so I have two different sliders like I have here, where it has a head spin and a body spin. So I can independently have a body facing one way, and then a head can animate on its own and kind of whoops and swivels and moves all around and turns around and stuff independently of the body. So I can do those kind of special controls kind of stuff. So that's what these kind of are, is that they're master controllers. So the more you put into it, the better you fiddle with it, the better results happen when there's better input. So yeah, just trying to do something really, really simple works the better. Works way better when you're doing something way simpler, like what I did, where it's just kind of like it just kind of just rotates the head like tilt. Works well. Trying to get it from 3/4 to front view, it may need some sort of in-between pose to kind of tell it that, yeah, from here to here, this is what it sort of would look like in between, and then it can go from a middle point from 3/4 to front, and then go from that middle point to either way. So yeah, it'll get a little bit more complex that way, but yeah, the whole point of this Magic Scroll stuff is just to make things on a more studio side, more like assembly factory. What are those? Assembly line factory kind of stuff of making a cartoon where it's just like you just want to get it done. So obviously it takes a while to set up and create and know how to be able to make it, but on the whole it becomes way simpler and easier to have. Be able to have access to pre-made poses is huge for animators, to be able to have different poses very accessible, to just be able to plop in a certain pose, even how simple it seems, is like, oh, he's 3/4 pointing with head facing this way and an expression. If you're able to like access that pose and be able to just like start fiddling with that pose like right away and really quickly, then yeah, you'll be able to have that jump start of like already making, you didn't have to like create that pose from scratch every single time. Then you'll be able to use that pose to then plus it or go from there, you know. That's kind of what I do a lot for my Flash cartoons, is use different legs or different wing flaps where I can use a specific leg that has different frames that would be perfect for, specifically designed for walking. So I can have 2 different versions for front and back leg, but I'm able to swap in those 2 legs in at any time, because they're always, I put them inside of the puppet, the whole container of the whole character, so they're always there and always accessible. That I can always use those 2 alternate version of the legs that look the same, but it just happened to already have an animation cycle built into them that I can just plop in and say, hey, make that leg walk cycle leg with animation appear at this frame or whatever. And so be able to reuse something that takes a while to like set up and make and stuff, but be able to just go in and use that at any point and reuse it is makes animation really fast. To a certain extent, that's like, yeah, and then you can use that time to make other stuff, you know, better backgrounds, better motions, better compositions, because then you can kind of push things a little bit further than maybe just making the basics of, here's a front view, now, you know, that's about it, you know. But now with this version that I made, now I can have maybe a more extreme camera view where it's like looking at her from the bottom of a cliff, like looking, you're at the bottom of a cliff looking up at her, and so she'll be looking down, and so that kind of pose I made of her face looking down, that'll be more useful, more accessible for me to just plop in rather than having to create every single pose of that from scratch and move every single element to be able to make that pose. Is really helpful. So yeah, plan to use that a lot for when we make our cartoon, which segued into next week. We'll be able to hopefully figure that out. That'll also give me some time to work on the puppet as well a little bit more next week. So yeah. Okay, smile later. Thank you, Cookie. You've been a good help. Thank you. Thanks for telling me to flip the canvas. That was good. Yeah, so next week we'll do the Mad Libs style of like, hey, I need a character, and then do a poll for that and figure out what kind of characters you're interested in, narrow that down, and then do a story with them, figured that out of like what kind of stories would work for that character, and then decide on if we have multiple ideas, then we can do a vote of like which one's the best, and then what's best for animation and interesting story. Go for that, and then we'll go from there, and then work on making the actual character, model, make that actually good, and then clean that up, and then start animating. So hopefully by probably like in 2 weeks we'll probably start either have the character done or we'll start animating. So that'll be exciting. So yeah, by August, definitely in August, we'll start animating the cartoon. Probably short, or we'll see what the what do you guys have in store for me. What'd you like to see? So yeah, so next Tuesday, get your ideas ready for that. Then, or I'll have that stream on there. Alrighty, let's see. I keep kneeling over. Oop, let me just reset, so I'll just be fine. So I can still like kneel over or bend over. Alrighty. Thanks for all the support, guys, and all the likes and all the Twitter likes on this stream post. Sorry that I wasn't able to deliver on my end. Also, it was still fun, and it's like the Bob Ross energy of all these crazy, high stressful painting on my streams seems to be a norm. And making it so hectic. Yeah. I'm just playing with the horse now. I'm just moving my going through the rotatey. Yeah, it's so cool. Oh, I love it. Are you saying goodbye to everyone, Rhyme, or just to Cookie? And I think there was a couple quotes from Portable. Let's see if I'm able to decipher some of this now. Yeah, do you know what LPS popular is? And so that got me a little confused. Sorry about that. Still don't know. I think LPS, unless it's IPS, I can't tell. LPS. Okay. Yeah, Lotus Pet Store. Littlest Pet Store. Yep, I know about that. Unless you're playing on the IPS. Well, that's the IP numbers the wacky numbers I was trying to hide there. So hopefully I hit them all each time. I don't think you guys saw it. That'll be good. Yeah, whenever I open my File Explorer, I always have like a IP address as one of my drive folders, I guess, or one of my big giant folders. So that's always annoying. Whenever I have to like open stuff, it's like, oh yeah, that's not good. Let's see though. Anything else? I think there's other stuff I want to talk about. Let's see. The movie, the Derpy movie is going good. I got some really good progress this week. I'm furnishing a room. It's not much of a spoiler, I guess. Whatever. Working on some rooms inside of the boat, the steamboat. If you watch into part 4, there's like 10 seconds of a boat where Derpy's on the back of a boat. So I'm picking it up from there, and so she'll be exploring the insides of the boat. So I've been 3D modeling this overly lavishly decorated load of room. So that's been really fun to 3D model and try to figure out like should this element or object be 2D or 3D, or should it be somehow a hybrid, or somehow try to figure out like what's the minimum of polygons I can get away with. I don't know why. I feel like I always have to like make it like a cup or something. Needs to be like a hexagon, and then like really rudimentary box modeling of the teacup holder hand. What actually is that called? The I can see it. What's actually part when the little part that you wrap your finger around it and on a teacup. That's actually where you hold it. What? There's gotta be a name for that. Why am I blanking on that? Of all things. Box modeling that is like really, really simple. But yeah, I got some fun objects in there. And then the shower thought that I had somehow involved like at least 3 different rooms in it that I didn't had originally. Because originally I just went into Derpy and I think I just had her like find the snakes like immediately. So now I'm adding like this gonna be like 20-30 second interlude, I guess, to get her take her a little bit longer on screen time to get her to the snakes on the boat. So yeah, so that involved like modeling like 3 different rooms. More than I thought. So in addition to it already being one of the longer chapters where I'm combining a whole bunch of different pieces, I'm also making it even longer by adding a whole bunch of different stuff and having her do much more fun stuff. And I think it'll be good for the long run to have her explore a little bit more, because I think the boat was actually one of the shorter segments originally, where it just kind of like was this piece to like kind of get her to the next place that's afterward. So the boat was not kind of like not much used. It wasn't like used as thoroughly originally. So I feel pretty good that I'm now adding whole extra rooms literally into this now. So hope you will enjoy that. Having fun making it. I got some really good progress on that. That one of the main rooms is textured and has a whole bunch of little details, and probably too much detail into stuff that some pieces are going to be pretty background objects that are probably never going to be really seen too thoroughly, that I really overly textured or have too much detail in some parts. But yeah, better to have some texture than not. So well, actually like little tiny like hand drawn little doodles or little decorations, I should say, onto pieces, rather than just being a solid color. I added some tiny little decorations, like those little fancy swirlies and S's, and the chairs are really fun. I added some heart motifs into a whole bunch of different pieces. So yeah, look out for that. That I've added so much into it now that it's kind of hard to know what the estimate of having it be done is. How long it'll take chapter 5, or that we're on, to get that done now. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm not sure exactly when that'll get done. I mean, I hope that I would get at least the boat section done by the end of this month, and that I've added so much that's pretty much here to add on a whole another section onto it. But so yeah, and there's even stuff like after the boat section that is going to be part of it, of chapter 5, and now it's becoming like its own little mini chapter. It's going to be its own mini movie at this point. If it's how extensive I'm having it be. Yeah, cause I'm just thinking about it, just like how much I want to do after that, after the boat. That's just like, man. That the chapter after that, there might be only like, only like 1 or 2, maybe at least, chapters after that. So there might only be like 6 or 7 chapters, which is a little unfortunate because I had it originally be 8 chapters, and I was like, yes, that sounds, it's like the typical Paper Mario, like all those RPGs always have 8 chapters. So I might only have it be at 7. It's a little disappointing, a little anticlimactic for me. Then maybe the whole movie would then be the 8th chapter or something of compiling it all. Oh, that'd be horrible. Or if I left like the last minute off of the last chapter and then not release the actual ending for like until the full movie is done, where I had to like release that like months later. Oh man. So I probably won't be doing that. That's just a horrible thought. Is to I plan to finish the movie all of the chunks and all the chapters. Finish all the different pieces of the all the movie. I'll just finish the movie, get it all done, and then spend a couple months of going back through and saying like, hey, chapter 1 is not quite as polished or really well as well animated or whatever, decorated with backgrounds or whatever. It's not quite as quality as good as what I could do right now. So that was been like over a year ago or something, right? When I first started, I first started the movie like in 2017. So it's already been a good while working on it. So yeah. So just work on it, just try and finish it, and at least just doing well step at a time. So I'll try to work on the build part and then try to get that going. Get all the 3D models and textures set up, and then animate Derpy in there, and then get all the rest of that. So we'll see. So my original hope was that I could get it chapter 5 done before the end of August. So it's still possible, but again, just how much stuff I've added into it now, I can't think of. I haven't recalculated to know like what now this will entail. Even with even with the storyboard that I have now, it's like I still want to like add some more stuff into it, some more details, and like do close-ups and more shots and stuff. Now that I've got a more concrete idea of what I want one of the rooms to be. So there's a lot of little tiny details that's like, can I do a close-up of this to kind of like show off that I made this? So that might add on to the running time, and so I haven't calculated that yet. Even where I am now, I haven't calculated it, so there's really hard to even know an even good estimate. So it'll probably just take probably until September realistically, with everything else I was working on. Man and Mirrors is wrapping up with one section, and then we got to work on when that Mirrors finished a trailer for like one tiny little 2-minute, well, I guess a huge 2-minute thing, and then do a little montage of all the different scenes after that. So that's gonna be a bit. That might take a month to do that. So I'm doing 2 big projects at the same time, always. Let's see though. Let me get some water, and then see if there's anything else to talk about. Swallowed right in the mic. Okay. Because I don't think there's anything much more major to talk about. Other stuff is just kind of hello. Other stuff is just kind of coming up later. So beyond what I've already talked about, I don't think there's anything really noteworthy to continue on. So anything from you guys needs to be brought up. I think we can wrap it up then, and I can have some sort of dinner, and then I think we'll be good. I'll be able to wrap it up. So I'm getting tired. My throat's a little bit tired. I'm just feeling good. Let's see. Hello, Ferris Alt. Welcome. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm trying to wrap it up so I can figure out. There's a little bit like some more Mirror stuff I have to work on today, so I'm trying to wrap it up so I can work on that, and then work on my Derpy movie. So, alrighty. Thank you guys for coming. So, let's see. So if you did come in late, and then speaking for everyone else too, all these streams are VODs on my channel, so you can watch from the beginning. There's also a playlist on my channel where you can watch pretty much like 2 or 3 years of live streams. I don't think I've deleted any of them. There was that one where I had Pony Life content that I had to like delete a half hour out of. But I think that's the most that I had to like remove off. So yeah, if you're interested in live streams, there's a whole lot of content there. You have like cartoons, which might be coming from for that. Also check out my channels for that. Check out my channel for check out my links in the description for all my other social media stuff. So in case you want to continue the conversation in Discord or message me on any other stuff, also other social media stuff, that'll be good too. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, yeah, I'll wrap it up. So we'll all say goodbye together then. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Let me see if I can get my keyboard here. Thank you so much. Big hug. These are always fun. Thank you guys for not being too pestery, I guess, with the when I was having a little Toon Boom troubles. You guys were very nice about it. You weren't like, oh, you're a dummy. How can you not know? You know, and I kind of like you guys could have been way ruder. So thank you guys for being really considerate. I super appreciate it. Thank you guys. So yeah, I didn't know like the majority of what I did today, but I think it's just executing it and just like trying to figure out, trying to do it with a different character is always different. Of just how exactly it'll work. So anyway, I think most of the glitches are kind of figured out anyway. So we'll have that all sorted out by even next week or so when we make the character for mystery character that we'll have for the story making Mad Libs on next Tuesday. So alrighty guys. Thank you so much. Alrighty guys. Thank you. Okay. I got my other arm out. High five. Okay. Bye guys. Bye. Okay. Thank you guys. Whoop.